Now, it wasn't until this point where Dragon Ball Super legitimately had something that was fresh, exciting, opposed to, of course, the 2 readaptation films that we had, and even during this tournament, definitely I feel as though this was the fight that put Dragon Ball Super on the map. This was one of the moments that ultimately made people say, you know what? Dragon Ball Super is actually starting to remind me of Dragon Ball Z, because in the Universe 6 tournament, we had a couple different fights, we had some decent ones, but this was hands down the best moment of the Universe 6 arc, and arguably one of the best fights in a while in Dragon Ball. Again, I feel as though Dragon Ball Super stepped it up from here on out, and what I'm referring to, the moment I chose for this day of the 12 days of anime, was Goku Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue versus Hit. That fight, amazing. Like, even the naysayers, even the people that were absolutely just talking down about Dragon Ball Super, saying, what is this, what's going on, when we got to that fight and we actually seen just this whole next level of fighting, it was just insane. A lot of people really had to close their mouths and say, yo, at the very least, this was a decent fight, because prior to that in the Universe 6 tournament, again, there was some, okay fights, there was some decent ones, but nothing to the magnitude of this fight. And the thing about it is essentially it felt as though it was a prelude to everything else in the epicness of Dragon Ball Super later on, because the fight was just on a next level. It even did a callback to one of our favorite techniques from back in the day when Goku first fought Vegeta, the Kaioken. He actually used that in combination with Super Saiyan Blue, and I felt as though this was one of the most interesting, in a way, turnouts for a Goku fight since Battle of Gods. And what I'm referring to is the fact that Goku once again couldn't get the job done. The villain or the threat or the antagonist was just too much for him, and he possibly maybe had an opportunity, but ultimately he didn't have enough time. And that's what I really enjoyed about this, because again, you go back to the history of Dragon Ball Super, we had the Battle of Gods readaptation, which the Goku versus Beerus fight was awesome, but we kind of already seen for the most part that fight in the movie, and then likewise for Resurrection F, and then the Universe 6 tournament up until that point just wasn't on that level. Once we got to that fight, I mean, even people that I talked to just was like, yo, this is just no chill at all. Amazing stuff. And I mean, the transformation, everything about that fight, I felt as though was possibly the best fight of Dragon Ball Super. I mean, there was some awesome fights afterward, in the Goku Black and Zama's arc, but Goku Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue versus Hit was just on a whole other level. And that's why I definitely had to choose it for this day of the 12 days of anime. It was just on a whole other level. I mean, even that transformation essentially was once again dipping into the relationship or the rivalry between Goku and Vegeta, because up until that point you felt, oh, they're kind of even, they're both Super Saiyan Blue, they both, they're probably neck and neck for the most part, but that transformation took it to a whole other level for Goku's power at the very least as well, because it was like, yo, times 10 on that Super Saiyan Blue, and even the outcome of all that, where Goku was basically damaged and he really couldn't move and stuff like that, it was just insane. Absolutely deserved to be on the 12 days of anime, and possibly the best fight of all of Dragon Ball Super. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, of course, what moment did you choose for today for the 12 days of anime, and also, do you think that this was the best fight in all of Dragon Ball Super? Do you think a different fight was better? And how did you feel about this? Do you feel as though this fight was the one that really put Dragon Ball Super on the map, as far as like, yeah, this is starting to get on that Z level with the fights and the action and the intensity? And your overall thoughts. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next 12 days of anime video. Have an awesome one.